Hey everyone, thank you for checking out another episode of What the Bones Say. Before we start our episode, we just wanted to give a quick disclaimer that this episode deals with mature content and does have some graphic violence. So, before proceeding, make sure you're comfortable with these themes. Thank you again for checking us out.
Hello, all of you fine nerds out there. Welcome back to What the Bones Say, our lovely podcast. I am Rob, one of the hosts of it, and I am joined by my buddies George,
Had it.
Cody,
Yes.
and Sage.
Over there.
And today we got something special we're gonna try out. We're gonna do kind of a one shot. We'll see if it turns into a multi-parter sort of deal, because these games can go on forever, even if it is a one shot. So we got something kind of concocted by our buddy Sage today. It's called Dead Men Walking. It's something Sage is a lot more familiar with. So I'm going to pass it over to you, bud, if you tell us a little bit about what we're playing today.
Well, thank you so much, good sir. So, Dead Men Walking. The company Necrotic Gnome made a game that was called Old School Essentials, which is basically a updated version of the old box set of Dungeons and Dragons. Dead Men Walking is made by a company known as Armored Storyteller, and it was written by Dean Leonard, John Brennan, and Travis Delaney as a way to embody and embrace a lot of the things we love about zombie films, talking a lot about the social issues today, and really trying to delve into hope versus despair. That's the big theme with this game. It is deadly. It's really fun to run. There's a lot of heroics, there's a lot of selfish actions, and it boils down to what the characters do when the chips are on the line. When you are in this survival situation, how are you going to get out?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we love deadly tabletop games. That is really something that we live for. I don't believe we have death saves on this, do we?
So, in the original rules of Old School Essentials, there are no death saves. As soon as you hit 0 hit points, you are dead. And we are going to keep that. We are going to be true to this game. We are going to have, once you hit 0, you are dead. Part of the reason is it will keep the intensity of the game, and this is a one-shot. So for further editions, maybe we add death saves. That can be a house rule we add. But we're going to try and keep this as much to the rules as possible.
Yeah, that is good to hear, because I know this game can have a lot of different twists and turns, as you were explaining to us a little earlier. For the folks out there, we already kind of pre-made some characters for this. We each have 3, I believe, because we go through them pretty quickly, as it can be deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So what is our intro to this? Like, where are we starting off?
So I wrote a bit of history on the background, but it is set in the future of America, where America is in a technology race with China, very much similar today. And basically a private corporation is subcontracted by the American government to do a secret project. And all of you are just these poor employees, part of this private corporation and secret project.
Because America.
America.
Yeah, we love capitalism. Just kidding. We don't.
Books. Fuck yeah.
Books. So I think I don't want to talk about anything else. I want to just show it.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing is each of you need to tell the audience who we are going to have as our characters.
you want us to explain all three of them at once? Like,
Just do the starting one.
Just
At the
start
same
starting
time, we are going to explain our characters. At the same time.
All right,
guys, on
simultaneously.
three.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
My name is
so
Dwight.
my
He's
name-
a
my
guy
name
who
is
works in the
Frank.
accounting office, and
you
he's
know,
financially
he's a security
great.
guard.
He does magic, and he
he's
knows
kind of
stuff,
overweight.
and he's like, yeah.
He's wearing a button shirt.
Are we done? Can we?
That was pretty good, right, Sage?
I got a button shirt, and his name was Greg out of that whole thing. So if that is all who you guys are playing as, sure.
Yeah, I'm a Joe Biden shirt. I'll just the T-shirt.
Yeah.
Hey, don't fall asleep on me now, Cody. Don't trip down those stairs. Oh, God, he's falling down the stairs.
Oh, and I'm sitting.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, if you want an actual description of our first characters, and we'll kind of describe the new ones as they die.
Yeah.
I will be playing as a man named Walter. He is a scientist in what I've heard about is the negative levels, whatever that means.
The negative floors.
The negative floors. I'm thinking the back rooms. Sorry. But yes, his name is Walter. He's a scientist. Kind of gruff looking old dude, like maybe 40s, 50s. And he's got glasses. Always wears a nice suit. Shows up to work every day looking prim and proper. And he's good buddies with the lead scientist down there, which is always a good time.
Mhm. And then we'll come to you, Cody. Who are you playing as?
I am playing a man named Dwight Geyser, the CFO of the. I almost said Akarat. What's the name of that? Akrana Corporation. Kakarot. He is the CFO of the Akrana Corporation. He is shorter, about 5'6", stout man with black hair that's kept back in a ponytail. He always has a look of knowing on his face and a smile that says he knows a little more than you do.
And then George.
Yeah, so I am playing as Frank. He's a security guard. He likes to look after the people of the corporation, make sure that they're all nice and taken care of, make sure that nothing bad happens there. He's a little overweight, kind of balding a little bit. He wears a nice buttoned up shirt. He's very proud about it. He's very prim and proper with it too. Everything is in a fashionable order about him. He's very cleanly. And yeah.
All right. Well, we have now set the stage with our 3 starting characters. Let's see if these 3 starting characters manage to survive, as this is Dead Men Walking.
Take your bets.
Spoiler, they won't.
So, let us begin at the first floor of Akrana Tower on a hot summer's day. Here at Akrana, ethical progress is what we're about. We believe that humanity's best interest is intertwined with strong morals and your intentions at our core. Akrana, always moving forward. This same commercial drones every morning, precisely at 7 o'clock. Frank, you sit at your desk, checking in. Various people, nice business attire, some casual, some more in full suits. A few even are being escorted by security. Around you, you can see private mercs with body armor and the highest tech equipment guard the perimeter of what seems to be an executive. Cody and George, your characters look at each other.
Good morning, Frank.
How's it, how are you doing today?
As good as always. Thank you.
Beautiful weather we're having outside, don't you think?
Dwight just looks out the window, looks back to you. I suppose. Have you seen Marcy?
No, I haven't.
And he just kind of clops away with his thick leather shoes.
Have a good day.
And as you see Dwight move away, another fellow enters that you recognize. Rob, your character enters through the spinning glass doors And as you're looking around, you can see on these big monitors, you see Akrana in bright red letters. And one of the A's is this arrow interweaving through another A, pointing forward. And you see this smiling woman in a business suit pointing in the direction of what seems to be progress. This is a grand floor where there's a lot of secretaries and security guards checking people in. Most of the people have badges on them with a picture of themselves and their name. And, of course, Frank, who you've known for a while, is sitting waiting to check you in.
Mr. Walter, how are you doing today?
Walter kind of approaches Frank with a kind of disgruntled and like almost angry looking face, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing well enough, Frank. I'm just another day of work, you know.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your day gets progressively better.
Oh well, they always do. Something comes up, you know. Looking forward to today's new adventure, today's new disaster, you might say.
Well, I heard in the kitchen they got some donuts, so if you're looking for a snack, that might cheer you up, Walter.
Kind of looks over to the kitchen and then looks back at you, still kind of disgruntled. He's just like, ugh, I didn't eat this morning anyway, I guess. Guess it couldn't hurt. He kind of goes off towards the kitchen to steal some donuts.
Okay. And as you each go to the different floors within the 50-towered floor, which Akrana likes to say is a grand architectural feat, which, to be honest, is about average for a skyscraper. Frank, another person comes up to you. This person is an older gentleman. His hair has turned into almost white strands of spaghetti and kind of flopped down towards his eyes. He's a little crooked in how he walks, and his shoulders are slumped forward. Though there's a gleam of wisdom within his eyes, and those gray, stormy eyes, and he gives you a thin smile as he puts on your desk 2 donuts.
Oh, thank you.
This is Julian. And Julian smiles and goes, "How's the morning, man?"
Oh, it's going all right, Julian. I hope you're not getting into any trouble today.
Oh, no, just on the top floors. There was just a little bit of an accident I had to clean up. Nothing much, though.
Oh, well, I hope everything's all right.
Everything's fine. The little rascal just got a little upset in the stomach.
All right. Thank you for the donuts. You going to share one with me, Julian?
Oh, no. He pats his stomach, and he has more of this pot belly. And he goes, "I have to lay off on those. The missus is getting a little aggravated with me."
I hear that, Julian. Well, thank you for the donuts. This isn't considered bribery now, is it?
Unless you want it to be.
Frank stops, and he kind of looks at him a little bit. Frank has these glasses in his shirt pocket. As he kind of takes them out, he dusts them off a little bit, puts them on to get a better look at Julian. Is he telling the truth right now? Is he being...
You've known Julian for a while. He sometimes likes to slack off on his duties, but partly is because he has been working here for almost the past 23 years. Sometimes he likes to slip you donuts when he's working a little too hard and needs an extra break.
Well, Julian, make sure to take it easy, okay, bud?
Julian gives you a nod and goes, "You're always looking out for me, Frank. I appreciate that."
Well, of course. Let me know if anybody's busting your balls or anything.
Well, do you think you could send a complaint to the top?
Oh. What are you upset now?
They gave me another notice. They caught me sleeping on the job.
Come on, Julian.
Listen, how many 10-hour days can I do at my age?
I know. Well, take it easy, and I'll make sure nobody knows. Stick to this floor for now. Don't go to any of those more private floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep to safe spots.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, thank you, really, Frank. It means a lot.
Of course.
And you watch as he kind of stumbles off, and you notice there's like a limp in his left leg now, which is relatively new.
Hey, you gonna get that checked out?
My coverage doesn't cover it.
Oh. Company insurance?
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't worry about it, Frank. I'll be all right.
Okay, you sure?
I'll be fine.
All right.
Thank you. And you watch as he takes an elevator. And Frank, you turn back to your duties as one of the executive goons comes up to you. Excuse me.
Hello. What can I do for you?
We noticed that there may be a drill earlier this morning for lockdown procedures.
Okay.
If this is the case, you have all the plans within your orange folder, correct?
I do, yes. And he goes and opens his desk and shows him all the envelopes in it.
Good. Make sure that if anyone is not following in line within those emergency procedures, that you take care of it personally.
Sure. We've done fire drills here before and all the works. That shouldn't be too difficult.
Good. And this man in a suit, sunglasses on, with an earpiece, he turns and walks towards another direction. And it is the direction that your character, Rob, is walking. Do you actually go to the kitchen?
As that guy is passing by.
Correct.
Like I perceive him.
Mhm.
I'd say he's probably heading for the kitchen, but like, is there anything about this guy that would like set off any sort of like alarms?
So, you personally have seen a lot of these guys. These are more bodyguards for executives. And often when they go down to the negative floors where you work, you see these bodyguards escorting the executives and the board of directors through your facilities down there. The negative floors are only known by those who work there, and anyone who tries to talk about it usually disappears. The most recent case was a woman by the name of Jasmine, who became a bit disturbed with one of the projects that were going on and tried to speak out about it.
And this guy would be privy to the negative floors?
Yes, he probably has clearance to the negative floors as well with his ID.
Do I know whether or not it would be normal for him to be kind of, because I assume I see him like coming from Frank.
I will have you make a wisdom roll to see if this man is acting normal or if this seems a bit outside of the normal procedures.
Okay, and that's on a D20?
Yep,
Yes.
so you're going to roll a d20 and you want to roll your wisdom score or below.
That is going to be an 11, so that's under a 16. So yeah, that's good.
That is a great roll. You kind of look at him. They seem to be more on edge today. They seem to be making sure everything is in place. You even mentioned someone going, "Is it happening today?" And a woman security guard looks back and goes, "Yes, it is. We got to be extra cautious, though."
Can I use my knowledge and analytical ability to deduce what it is?
Ooh, okay. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm not going to have you roll because you are assigned to the project.
Ooh, okay.
So recently, from hearing it from around, people just chatting, gossiping, and once or twice an executive being drunk, you actually believe that a specimen from Area 51 is being transferred to the negative floors.
Okay. All right. So that's why everyone's on edge. Okay. I don't think I'd have any, like, knowing what I know, I don't think I'd have any reason to follow that guy because I'm probably like in my head, like, okay, like they're probably on extra guard today, about this. So I'd say he continues to the kitchen and like grabs a few donuts or something and just kind of takes note of him and
All right.
is on his way.
And when you head into the kitchen, you do meet your boss. So, Maddie, she's a tall woman, likes to wear heels And though it's normal procedure to be business casual, she wears ripped jeans and a t-shirt. And the t-shirt's a little torn. She sits with perfect posture and looks around with these soulless blue eyes. And she sees you and gives a slim smile and goes, "Good morning."
Good morning, Maddie. Nice to see you on this day of all days. Uh, having a few donuts, I take it, and as I grab one and take a bite.
She points to a cup of water that's being boiled. She goes, "I prefer tea."
Fair enough. That's got some degree of caffeine in it, I believe.
We
More
all
than
run on
enough.
caffeine still.
Yes, more than enough to get you by, I'm sure. Me, I kind of go up to the coffee maker and pour some coffee, and I'm like, I'll take my caffeine black today.
Black, huh? Well, you're going to need it.
Well, you can say that again. I hope we don't have too much on our plate for today, all things considered.
Well, we have a lot, actually. Her voice lowers, and she kind of looks around to see if anyone else is in the break room/kitchen. The break room is a nice little spot. Not as nice as it should be. The microwave is dirty. There's a lot of splatters inside of it. You can see that people haven't taken out the trash yet, and a few flies are crawling up onto the trash can. And looking around, you see one person walk in, goes, morning, grabs a donut, kind of with his grimy hands, doesn't even use a towel, and it goes, and marches out the door.
Okay. Now, I don't see anyone else like just in plain view. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Can I roll to see if there's any Snurf Nibblins in the wall?
You find hundreds of snake They're waiting right there.
Oh no. No. Okay. Okay. Yeah. As that guy leaves, I kind of get a little bit closer to her. Just so we're in whispering distance. And I'm like, well, is this supposed to be dangerous? Is this supposed to be I'm still not quite sure what to expect, to be honest with you.
Well, that's because this is the first day you will be assigned to this project. This project has been ongoing on negative floor 10 for the past month.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's why I've heard whispers of it. Eventually, it had to get back to me. I'm sure, right? And he kind of chuckles at this. Well, after we're finished up with our morning to do, I suppose I'll get going down to that level and see what exactly you have planned for me today. And he smirks at her.
She smiles and goes, "You should make another pot of coffee and just bring it down. There's a lot you need to be filled on. And make sure when you take the elevator down, no one's watching, especially today."
Well, can't say no to more coffee. And he kind of goes and would there be like a larger thermos or something he can find in the cabinets?
So the one thing that the company does provide are these big thermoses. They're more of like these steel thermoses, but they are outfitted with all the Akrana logos. It's a bit obnoxious, but hey, it's a thermos that you can use.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna take a bigger one of those, like maybe like maybe like a quart size if they got that, and he's gonna just fill it up with coffee, and he's just gonna kind of raise it to her as he leaves the room and kind of preps to secretly go down an elevator, probably an elevator that's more out of sight if he can.
Can I make a stealth check that Dwight has been standing just around the corner this whole time?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to rule. I will have Cody, you can make a dexterity check to see if you roll under your dex.
Okay.
And what I'm going to have you do is make a wisdom check to see if you roll under your wisdom.
Okay. That is a 13, so that's under my 16.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that's a success.
I just don't. Okay, that's dice. All right.
5. You rolled under yours. So here's what happens. You get this strange sixth sense that someone has been listening. You, Dwight, wanted a donut, despite not necessarily being the nicest person to the guard. You did get the information about donuts from someone else, and you got a little hungry. And you were overhearing some bits and pieces about a project, the negative floors, which you, of course, know about, since you are part of the executive branch of this company.
So I think the way I want to stage this is as Rob, forgive me, what's your character's name?
Walter.
Walter. As Walter walks out, Dwight's just right there, and he looks up at you because he's rather short, and he says, "I'm always watching." And he goes in and gets a donut.
Yeah, as he kind of rounds the corner and hears that, he's kind of like, and he just kind of looks back at you angrily and keeps going.
Dwight turns the corner into the break room. Maddie, your eyes seem particularly dead inside today.
Dwight is still breathing, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately for all of us. So, what do you know as he takes a donut and nibbles?
I'm under an NDA. As you should know.
I believe I also am under that NDA. There's no one else in this room we can discuss as adults, can we not?
We have discussed it as adults.
How droll. I'm watching you. And he throws the donut in the garbage can, looks at the flies, and says, "As I suspected, they're breeding." And he leaves.
And as you are leaving, Maddie looks up and puts a little bit more honey. And she says to you, Dwight, "I recommend you sweeten up your life a little bit. You're such a bitter man."
Believe me, I am plenty sweet. And he just gives like a really uncomfortably toothy, like, grin.
Okay. And she takes a sip of her tea with honey. "So, Dwight, you have a meeting. It is a meeting to discuss the profits of Akrana. And you've been dreading this meeting. And you've been hoping that you could find Jasmine so you can talk to her about what the plan is. But you have not been able to find her just yet."
Mm-hmm. What was Marcy's role again?
Marcy?
Yeah.
Do you mean Maddie?
Marcy Davidson, the woman that Dwight's friends with.
Oh, Marcy.
Marcy. Marsha.
Excuse me, I meant Marcy instead of Jasmine. So Marcy is one of the lead managers of the company.
Oh.
She deals with a lot of training managers, making sure that they keep up with all production. She also gives daily reports on what floors are producing and
Okay.
what floors are not producing. Marcy works really close with you because you deal with a lot of the finances.
Yep.
And you guys bring a lot of reports to the board. And today is one of the board meetings.
And Marcy's just nowhere to be found?
Yes.
All right, I go to the meeting. I scan around to see if I can find her, listening to see if anyone says anything about her. If there's any roll to be made, I'm glad to do so. But I also feel like there might not be anything to hear.
All right. And as you're looking around and listening, you hear a fuck.
I turn to look with my eyes squinted heavily.
As you turn to look, you see two men. They're outfitted in full body armor. They're carrying assault rifles, and one of them seems to have dropped something on their foot. And you hear the other guy go, "Are you fucking with me? Jared, are you serious?" Jared looks up. He's like, "You know what, Dylan? If you were actually carrying this thing, it wouldn't have fallen on my foot. Well, let's get going."
What are they carrying?
So it's this large cylinder, and there seems to be some sort of pad on the front of it. It glows, and it looks like it's needing for a specific ID to open up. And if you want, do you want to try and get a closer peek?
Yes.
All right, give me... Are you trying to be stealthy about it?
Yeah.
I would like you to make a dex roll.
Okay.
You rolled a 7, which is under your dex of 13, which means you succeed.
Hell yeah.
So as you get closer, what you do is you maneuver along the walls and peek over a corner. You see this, it's almost containing a liquid of some sort that at times seems to almost solidify. It almost has like that Oblex texture.
Mhm.
And it's a vibrant green.
Gentlemen, I do hope you are not about to break company property.
The man Dylan looks up at you and goes, "Who the fuck are you?"
My name is Dwight Geyser, and you will show some respect for your chief financial officer.
Oh, shit. Listen. We're sorry.
I think you should listen, sir. Be careful with these things. They are more expensive than you, your family, and everything you've ever owned. Treat it with respect, and I leave for my meeting.
Jared bites his lip. You can tell he wants to say something to you.
Dwight smirks.
We'll get it done right, sir.
Thank you.
Fucking pansy, he whispers as he turns, and they carry this strange cylindric tube down into another elevator.
Dwight smiles all the more, feeling a sense of victory at his outburst.
And at that victory, you then hear the very familiar voice of Marcy go, "Must you seriously flaunt your power like that?"
When they're disrespecting property such as that, I do feel it is important to extend a sense of discipline. But, Marcy, you have always been my more rational half, so perhaps I will consider sweetening my bitter disposition.
Oh, was Maddie giving you a hard time?
Oh, I suppose I started it this time.
Well, that's on you.
Yeah. I've been looking everywhere for you. Are you okay?
It's been a very long morning.
What's going on? Walk with me.
And she does. And Marcy's wearing a very formal business attire. She's wearing a full suit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's wearing business shoes. Her hair is long and down to her shoulders and free flowing, and her deep brown eyes seem to have these bags under them that just keep going. And she's a very beautiful woman. However, it seems that the recent months have worn her down a lot.
I think as they turn a corner that's a little more private and out of public eye, for the first time, probably in this month, he shows a sign of physical affection. He puts his hand on her shoulder and says, "You look quite tired. Have you been sleeping?"
To be honest, not really. Dwight, they want me to lay off 16 more people. Our profit margins weren't good enough.
Jesus Christ, we do everything we can. They want more?
They want more. We're under by $1 billion in our profits.
Oh, good. We've only made 15 so far this year.
Yeah, well, they want me to fire Veranza.
I think Dwight kind of puts a hand on her forearm, squeezes. "I will find it in the budget. You will not have to lay anyone else off this year."
Well, that's what we're going to try and fight. I don't know how you're going to convince them. Literally, all the numbers are saying we have dropped. And it's part of the reason because our competitors have discovered this new technology to add nanobots into the bloodstream.
Well, perhaps there are some innovations of our own that we can make.
We better figure out something fast.
All right. Together, I believe we can figure out anything, Marcy. Let us get to this meeting and get it over with.
Yeah. I fucking fucking hate the board.
As do I. And he smiles and kind of embraces fate and walks off.
All right. And you guys come into this room. And that is when we're going to cut back to Rob. Rob, Walter comes down the elevator, and Maddie comes down not too far behind you. And the first thing that you are greeted with is the barrel of a SMG. And the man looks at you and goes, "Clearance?"
I say, yes. Hello, Ryan. And he takes out his badge he probably has on him.
Looks at it and he scans it through, and he goes, "You're cleared." He lowers the gun. "Move through." And what you notice is that these are not the normal security of Akrana. Akrana has its own private security. You're well familiar with it. If you would like, you can make an intelligence roll to see if you can identify who these people are.
I will do that. That's a 2, which is definitely under because I have a 13.
All right. So that means you know exactly who these are. This is a private mercenary company known as the Bloodwater. Bloodwater is well known for providing exceptional services in military combat, escorting, hostage situations, and is really well known for making sure things are kept secret.
Okay.
Maddie then scans her card and goes, "Good morning, Ryan." "Good morning, Maddie." "Walter, come with me."
Oh, with pleasure. And he heads off with Maddie, putting away his ID.
You guys then continue down 9 flights of steps and then come into a room where you are situated with your gear. You are given white lab coats, latex gloves, and you see another person come in. This man has short black hair. He's on probably around 5'7". He has this big beaming smile, and he goes, "Oh, are you Walter?"
Yes. Who are you?
I'm Diego. It's a pleasure to meet you." And he holds out his hand.
Diego. He shakes his hand. Yes, I believe I've heard your name somewhere.
Yeah, I just got transferred here. I've heard wonderful things about you, man.
Yes. I've been here for quite some time, and he looks over at Maddie and smiles at that.
There he goes, "A little too long." Gives you a smile back.
Yes. Today's a big day, so we'll need all the time we can. But it was nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and you're going to be meeting me more because we're coworkers now.
Yes, I was about to say, hopefully I'll be seeing you around.
Maddie goes, "To elaborate further, he's working on our team."
Oh, our team for this project. Very, very nice. I think we'll need all of the personal help we can get in this endeavor.
Diego is a linguist and anthropologist, correct? Yes, double majored at Harvard.
Oh, wow. Summa cum laude, too?
Yes.
Wow. For once I was right. Anyways, well, I assume you'll be joining us then.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to work on this discovery.
Yes.
Who knew the permafrost would hold such amazing things?
He kind of gives you just a disgruntled look, and he's like, "Sure." And then he's like, "Come with us, and do keep quiet about this."
Of course, I don't want to get shot.
Yes, that's a blunt way of putting it.
I mean, it's the only way to put it. Maddie goes, "He has a point."
Walter kind of sighs, and he kind of continues on his way.
And as you continue down, you come into this long corridor where there's a lot of cages, and in these cages are animals being held, various types of animals. And you know this because you have done some testing on animals for the new drugs and weapons And occasionally you come deeper into this long cells, these padded rooms. And you recognize one of the prisoners who are being held here is known as Eddie. And Eddie kind of looks at you and goes, "So you're gonna kill me yet?"
Maybe one of these days.
Well, hurry the fuck up. I think I'm gonna die when getting out of here.
You know, anything to prolong your suffering. And he smiles at that.
He leans back in his seat, puts 2 middle fingers up at you.
Oh. He smiles and he kind of continues past his cage.
And as you do, he yells. He's like, "When I get out, I'm gonna put a fucking shiv in your side. I'm gonna make you suffer."
Walter kind of waves back at him and continues. Yeah, that'll be the day, won't it?
Diego looks a little horrified and he goes, "What's going on?"
Oh, just we have a great relationship.
Maddie goes, "He's a real charmer once you get to know him." You guys then come into this large chamber. The glass seems to be bulletproof and is covered in this thick mist. The temperature drops and it's very cold all of a sudden. There are armed security guards, mounted machine guns, and you see one soldier lean in, lights a cigar, blows into it. "You're here to examine?"
Examine this and that. Yes, you could say that.
Blows. He takes another draft of his cigar and lays a file in front of you. "Read that shit."
Oh, with pleasure. And he picks it up and starts to examine.
And Diego gets his own, and so does Maddie. And you are reading it. First one is kind of more, "This is classified information. If you were to tell about it, you shall be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law." You know that there would be no prosecution. It would be an execution. But you then start to read about it. Project Sci-Fi is what it's named. And you continue to read. Under the permafrost, there seems to have been something discovered. An extraterrestrial being, they're calling it. The pictures are monstrous. It has no human-like form. Its body is a mass of flesh and tendrils. There seem to be some type of eyes on it that have been described as almost like slits. You continue to read, and that it was transferred from Area 51 to here under the agreement per the government in Akrana. In further reading, you start to understand that a lot of the specimen has some control through blood in the mind. You're not exactly sure, nor does the documents really elaborate further, as this seems to be recently added. But it then says that the goal is for you to create a new bioweapon with this alien creature, using wavelengths, the electromagnetic radiation of the brain, as the central processor for this new weapon.
And this is everything that the document says, like my brief and everything.
Yeah, so
Okay.
these are like the notes and the goals and what this project is all about.
Does it have any notes on like what this thing's physical capabilities are in terms of like strength and what it can do?
So when you read up on the notes, it's stuck in a cryogenic stasis that the government has ensured of putting this creature in. And when you look at it, it doesn't even have legs. It actually has these little tendrils all along the base of its body. And the mouth, it has carnivorous teeth that curl like long hooks into a central grinding process. It doesn't seem to have any organs like a human body. It has some type of means to communicate, and that is why Diego has been brought along.
I kind of look over to this kid and I'm like, you really don't know what you're in for, huh?
He's looking at these papers, horrified, and he goes, "What is this?"
Well, Hell if I know. We'll take this one slowly.
It's strange. It has notes of like hieroglyphics and influencing a lot of cultures. But does that mean it travels? How does it move? Like, does that mean human history has been influenced by this? And are we able to communicate? There's so many questions, and my God, it's ugly.
Well, all things with time, okay? But as our man here said, make sure you don't say anything to anyone about this. This is all confidential, and the price is very high. I know you're new to this, but the weights of this corporation are bearing down on your shoulders.
Oh shit. Maddie goes, suit up. And they have these suits designed, these big puffy suits. And it seems to be a mix between those emergency radiation suits that I'm blanking on the name right now.
Hazmat suit.
Hazmat suits, thank you. Hazmat suits, and almost like an astronaut with plating. And it has multiple layers of filtration. And Maddie gets into hers. It takes her about 10 minutes. Diego the same. And then they kind of come over and help you. And Maddie goes, once we're in there, we're going to be doing some tests, collecting samples. And Diego's going to attempt to communicate with it.
Well, it's about damn time I find out what this thing was. I've been hearing about all month. And he suits up. And he's like, shall we?
Yeah, we shall. And then you hear, warning, warning, cryo chamber opening. All personnel be on high alert. Warning, cryo chamber opening in 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Malfunction, malfunction. Cryo chamber malfunction. Red lights start blaring. You see all the mercenaries around raise their weapons. And then there's a silence. Malfunction stabilized. Please proceed. Diego goes, well, that's comforting.
Yes, something always has to go awry.
It happens every Thursday, Diego. Don't worry about it.
I'm freaked out right now, dude.
You enter this chamber, and the thing is more hideous. Its fleshy substance don't just sit there like the pictures. They actually move. It moves across its body like shifting tectonic plates. And then you see like all these laser cutters and scalpels being laid out, and the other scientists that are in the chamber are actually passing to all of you the tools you need to collect these samples. Diego goes, well, how the fuck am I supposed to communicate with it? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Did you read the brief?
I did, but hieroglyphs, okay. I need pencil. I need paper. He yells at the chamber, and you can hear this all through the intercom. And one of them passes him pencil and paper, and he starts to write it, and he holds it up. It's not doing anything. I'm gonna lay it on it. His hands touch the creature for a moment, and suddenly one of his gloves rips, and he goes, ah, fuck. His eyes go bloodshot. His body goes tense, and he looks at it and he goes, well, Walter, I feel his mouth begins to foam, and you hear one of the soldiers go, shit, we have a situation. Suddenly, Diego's jaw begins to extend. His body turns pale. All the blood flows out from his face and becomes deathly blue. And suddenly, his hands begin to twitch uncontrollably. His neck cracks and a bone juts out from it. And then, as the jaw continues to make this weird popping noise, this foaming turns into this thick mucus saliva. And then it cracks its head. And it goes, tell by... Maddie goes, yeah. What the fuck? And suddenly, your eyes are blinded by this splattering of mucus. Gunfire opens up from all around you, and then you hear another person go, it got me!
I run out of the chamber, and as I'm running, I yell, "Neutralize all targets affected by him or it."
Maddie goes in. We have emergency class 1. We have an emergency. Fuck! She screams out as a bullet hits her, and then looming above her, one of the former soldiers is now twitching, its eyes fixed upon her. And it leans over, letting the mucus spew onto her stomach. It has this corrosive ability, and it begins to stretch out like a spider web. What do you do?
I keep running. She's a goner.
All right, you keep running, and you haul ass, and you see one of the soldiers starts opening fire into the haze with his machine gun. The loud pounding of the bullets fill your ears before you hear flesh being ripped, and then this bloody scream, and instinctively you turn back to see Maddie on the ground, twitching, her arm ripped off, blood spewed against the wall. Her eyes just kind of looking at you before the door to the emergency lockdown closes.
Ah! Holy fuck, dude.